Dallas, November 22, 1963. The city was alive with excitement, its streets buzzing with the energy of a nation looking toward a bright future. President John F. Kennedy's motorcade rolled through the heart of Dallas, greeted by thousands of cheering citizens. Flags waved, children perched on their parents' shoulders, and hope seemed to fill the air. Jacqueline Kennedy, elegant in her iconic pink suit, smiled and waved beside him, a living symbol of hope, youth, and the promise of a new era for America. Suddenly shots rang out in Dealey Plaza. The president slumped forward, and in an instant, the world changed. In mere seconds, the optimism of the day turned to horror and disbelief. The crowd's cheers became cries of anguish. America's innocence was shattered on live television. Families watched in shock as the unthinkable unfolded before their eyes. The nation mourned together, united in grief, but the darkness didn't end there. A sense of safety was lost. In the years that followed, a new terror crept in, one that didn't announce itself with gunfire, but with a chilling silence that settled over quiet neighborhoods. Serial killers emerged. Ted Bundy, charming and deadly, whose crimes shocked the nation and shattered illusions of safety. John Wayne Gacy, the clown who hid bodies beneath his home, revealed that evil could lurk behind the most ordinary of masks. These men looked ordinary, blending in with neighbors, turning safe neighborhoods into places of fear and suspicion. The comfort of suburbia, the trust in strangers. Suddenly, nothing felt secure. Parents locked doors, children were called inside, before dark. The assassination and the rise of serial killers marked a profound loss of safety. Communities grew wary, and neighbors eyed each other with caution. Evil could strike anyone, anywhere, from the president in a motorcade to the person living next door. No one felt truly safe anymore. The bright post-war promise faded into a long shadow as the innocence of the past slipped away. The Zapruder film, the mugshots of killers, these haunting images became etched in our collective memory, reminders of a world forever changed. They're not just history, they're turning points that changed how Americans saw their leaders, their neighbors, and even themselves. Trust eroded, replaced by suspicion. People began to look at each other differently, wondering what secrets might be hidden behind closed doors. The questions, why, how, who, still echo today, haunting generations who search for meaning in the chaos. These events forced America to confront its own vulnerability, to realize that tragedy could strike at the heart of the nation. They showed that evil could wear any face, and that danger could come from the most unexpected places. The nation's story was forever altered, the sense of security replaced by a lingering unease. The age of innocence was over. Childhood itself seemed changed, touched by a new awareness of danger. The monsters were real, and they could be anyone. The line between friend and foe was no longer clear. The American dream was now shadowed by doubt, as families wondered if safety was ever truly possible. The world had changed, and so had we. The innocence of yesterday was gone, replaced by a cautious vigilance. The search for answers continues, as America tries to understand how innocence unraveled, and how to protect what remains. Why do these tragedies still haunt us? JFK's assassination wasn't just the loss of a leader, it was the death of an idea. His murder left a wound that never healed, breeding distrust in institutions and fueling endless conspiracy theories. The rise of serial killers brought a new, personal, random violence from strangers. Suddenly, anyone could be a target, and anyone could be a predator. These stories endure because they're unsolved puzzles. JFK's case a maze of theories, serial killers a psychological enigma. We study them, hoping to understand evil and protect ourselves. Both events shattered the illusion of safety, forcing America to grow up fast. There are modern fairy tales, grim reminders that the world is dangerous. They remind us of the fragility of peace and the American dream. These shadows give our history depth, they're warnings, mysteries and mirrors all at once, and they still shape who we are. The 1960s were a paradox. Prosperity and anxiety side by side, a decade where hope and fear walked hand in hand. The economy boomed, suburbs grew, and culture flourished. Families moved into new homes, and a sense of possibility filled the air. Music, art, and fashion exploded with creativity, reflecting the optimism of the era. But beneath the surface, the Cold War loomed, and nuclear fears simmered. People practiced drills, always aware that disaster could strike at any moment. Kennedy embodied hope, challenging Americans to reach for the moon and inspiring a generation to dream bigger than ever before. Yet he also faced the Cuban Missile Crisis, standing between hope and catastrophe as the world held its breath. Society was in flux. The civil rights movement, protests, and deepening divisions challenged the status quo and demanded change. The old order was crumbling, and the nation was divided by age, politics, and race. Generations clashed over values and the future of America. Into this volatile world came two forms of darkness, each casting a long shadow over the decade. The president's assassination felt like the breaking point of a society in turmoil, shattering the nation's sense of unity and hope. The rise of serial killers was a private horror, seemingly disconnected from politics, but feeding a growing sense of unease and vulnerability. Both were symptoms of a nation losing its bearings, struggling to find stability in a rapidly changing world. The rules no longer applied. Old certainties faded, replaced by confusion and doubt. The sense of safety was gone. People grew wary, locking their doors and watching the world with new caution. America's innocence was slipping away. The world felt unpredictable, and the future uncertain for everyone, and nothing would ever be the same. The 1960s left a mark that would shape America for generations to come. November 22, 1963. The presidential limousine turned onto Elm Street, sunlight glinting off its polished surface as crowds lined the sidewalks, waving and cheering. It was a day filled with excitement and anticipation in Dallas. Nellie Connolly turned to President Kennedy and said, "You can't say Dallas doesn't love you." Kennedy smiled warmly, waving to the enthusiastic crowd. But in a matter of seconds, the mood shifted. Gunfire erupted, echoing through Dealey Plaza. President Kennedy was struck by the bullets. Governor Connolly, seated in front, was also wounded, his cries of pain lost in the chaos. Panic and confusion swept through Dealey Plaza as people ducked for cover, some screaming, others frozen in disbelief. The limousine raced to Parkland Hospital, Secret Service agents urging the driver to go faster. But it was too late. By 1 p.m., President Kennedy was pronounced dead. The nation was stunned as Walter Cronkite, his voice trembling, delivered the heartbreaking news to millions watching on television. Police scrambled to find the shooter, searching buildings and questioning witnesses in a desperate hunt for answers. During the frantic manhunt, Officer J.D. Tippit was shot and killed in the streets of Dallas, adding to the city's turmoil. Lee Harvey Oswald, a former Marine with a mysterious past, was arrested at the Texas Theater after a brief struggle. Oswald denied any involvement, telling reporters he was just a patsy, insisting on his innocence as cameras flashed. 2 days later, in a shocking twist, nightclub owner Jack Ruby shot Oswald on live television, stunning the world. The man who might have held the answers was gone, leaving investigators and the public with only more questions. The Warren Commission was formed and ultimately concluded that Oswald acted alone, but controversy lingered. Yet millions of Americans doubted the official story, fueling decades of speculation and conspiracy theories. The assassination of JFK became an enduring mystery, inspiring countless books, documentaries, and debates. The nation's trust in its institutions was shaken, and a sense of innocence was lost forever. The questions would never fully be answered. The trauma lingered, haunting generations to come, and the sense of security that once defined America was lost, leaving a nation forever changed. As America mourned JFK, a new terror emerged: the serial killer. H.H. Holmes built a murder castle in the 1890s, but by the 1970s, such killers were no longer anomalies. The term serial killer was coined, and the nation learned new names: Ted Bundy, John Wayne Gacy, Jeffrey Dahmer. These men looked normal, hiding horror behind ordinary faces. They shattered the illusion that evil was obvious. Their crimes dominated headlines and inspired a national obsession with the psychology of killers. They proved monsters could be neighbors, co-workers, even community leaders. Trust in the familiar was forever shaken. America learned that danger could be anywhere. The age of innocence was truly over. Behind every headline are real people, lives shattered by violence. The Kennedy assassination's trauma rippled far beyond the first family. Abraham Zapruder, who filmed the tragedy, was haunted for life. Officer J.D. Tippett's family lost a husband and father. Serial killer victims' families endured agonizing uncertainty, their grief made public. Survivors like Carol Durant, who escaped Ted Bundy, showed remarkable courage. Her testimony helped convict him, a reminder of resilience in the face of evil. Even the families of perpetrators like Marina Oswald suffered lasting consequences. These stories remind us, history is personal, the pain is real, the loss profound. Yet there are stories of survival and strength. The human spirit endures, even in darkness. These events are not just statistics, they are legacies of pain, and sometimes, of hope. We must remember the people, not just the crimes. The aftermath changed America forever. Presidential security was overhauled, open motorcades replaced by armored cars and armed guards. The Secret Service became a fortress. The rise of serial killers led to new law enforcement tactics. The FBI's behavioral science unit, criminal profiling, and national databases. Police learned to track killers across state lines. Culturally, fear and paranoia grew. Parents taught stranger danger. The news made the world feel more dangerous. Movies and TV reflected this new anxiety. But fear also led to progress, victims' rights groups, new laws, and better support for survivors. America became more guarded, more aware, and in some ways, safer. But the cost was lost innocence. The wall between leaders and the public grew. Trust was harder to find. The legacy of fear endures. What do these dark chapters teach us? They're cautionary tales about the fragility of safety and the need for vigilance. The JFK assassination reminds us that history can change in an instant. Serial killers show that evil can hide behind a friendly face. We study these stories to understand, to protect, and to honor the victims. Remembering them is an act of resilience. These events shaped our laws, our culture, and our sense of self. To forget them is to forget who we are. Even in darkness, there is hope and strength. The shadows are part of our story, and our resolve to never let history repeat itself.